Time passes quickly, and you're about to receive your new S-Class, a vehicle you can be proud of. In this film, we would like to introduce you to some key features and give you some operating hints. Of course, we can't show you everything here. So to ensure your complete driving pleasure and enable you to utilize the technical facilities of your new S-Class to the full while avoiding any risk to yourself and others, you should also read the user handbook for your vehicle. In the development of the new S-Class, our aims were to combine perfectly the traditional Mercedes values of quality, reliability, comfort and safety with maximum driving pleasure, individuality and style. In the exterior styling, we aimed not just to achieve a contemporary look, but at the same time to improve aerodynamics, downforce and acoustics. With a CD figure of 0.27 and 50% more downforce, the fuel consumption of the new S-Class is 17% lower in the new European drive cycle. The wind noise has been reduced further, and, as a special safety feature, the windows and rear view mirrors remain cleaner. The fuel consumption is helped further by clear weight savings of between 190 and 225 kilograms, depending on model and equipment level, thanks to a new lightweight construction concept, using a combination of steel, aluminium and plastic. To reduce fuel consumption further, an automatic cylinder shutdown system is available on the S500 model, which electronically disconnects 4 cylinders under partial load and only reactivates these when more power is required, without your even noticing. A completely redesigned chassis with Airmatic electronically controlled pneumatic suspension, automatic ride height adjustment and the ADS adaptive damping system further improves driving comfort and dynamics. You can feel how securely and lightly your new S-Class drives. To achieve this, we've fitted a new steering system, new race-proven brakes, the ESP electronic stability program with integral drive slip control, brake assist and ABS, an automatic transmission with one-touch selector and much more. To improve the operating and interior comfort, a new climate control system has been developed, together with electrically adjustable seats, a memory module with ergonomics button, and as a further innovation, a comfort seat, including seat ventilation, heating, and dynamic multi-contour backrest. An electrically adjustable steering column with easy entry-exit function, a tilting and sliding sunroof with automatic positioning system, a multifunction steering wheel for operating the comfort controls, an instrument cluster with new display system, the keyless Go driver authorization system, and much more. To improve safety, we've fitted a driving light sensor, which automatically switches on the external lights, a night design system for background lighting of the footwell, center console and door handle recesses, the command cockpit management and data system for comfortable operation of the audio, telephone and navigation system. Passive safety has been improved by a new passenger airbag with staged release, side airbags for the rear passengers, and window bags extending over the entire side of the vehicle. The aim of this film is to explain some of the technical innovations in more detail and give you tips for operation so that you can gain maximum enjoyment from your new S-Class more quickly. Naturally, this video cannot replace a thorough reading of the user handbook.
The new S-Class is beautiful, sporting and dynamic, and very elegant. Almost like a coupe viewed from the side. The external dimensions are slightly less than those of its predecessor. It is shorter, narrower and lower. But of course that doesn't mean that we have made any cuts as regards the interior equipment. Quite the contrary. The rear leg and knee room have actually been increased. In the front seat, too, you can really appreciate this spacious design. When the key is inserted, the steering wheel automatically resumes the last position set, which you, of course, decide using this lever. When the key is withdrawn, under electronic control, the steering wheel moves out of the way for more comfortable entry and exit. But this steering wheel does a lot more. The 4 rocker buttons on the multifunction steering wheel allow easy operation of many controls without you having to remove your hands from the wheel. But more on this later. As you would expect from a Mercedes S-Class, our designers have again succeeded in creating an interior which combines spaciousness with luxury. The seat adjustment automatically modifies the seatbelt height to your body size. The automatic comfort system provides extra luxury. The front seats are electrically adjustable as standard and offer a wide range of possible individual settings. The easiest way to find the optimum seating position is to keep the button for length adjustment pressed until your right foot reaches the pedals comfortably. The memory and ergonomics buttons are standard on all 8-cylinder models and available as options on the 6-cylinder versions. When you press the E button, you will see that the other seat settings and the steering wheel position adjust automatically to the length setting you have selected, all in accordance with the science of ergonomics and safety. Of course, you can still make fine adjustments yourself. When you have found your preferred settings, you can save these using the memory function. An extra memory location is provided for a second driver. You can program a parking position for the near side external mirror, so that when reverse is selected, the mirror automatically swivels down to show the curb edge. After making any corrections, you can then store this position. Press the memory button and at the same time press the adjustment button down briefly. Using this adjustment wheel, you can adapt the standard lumbar support for your back to suit yourself and store this setting using the memory. The dynamic multi-contour backrest offers even more individual support. The lower rocker button changes the support effect in the lumbar region. The upper rocker button does the same for the shoulder region. And this button adapts the side support to your needs, and the position can also be stored in the memory. You can also set a pulsating airflow in the air chambers of the lumbar support to relax your back muscles further. The program runs for 5 minutes and can be repeated as required. The qualities of the new seats will be particularly evident on longer journeys. Another innovation is the comfort seat with seat heating and ventilation, which draws cool air up from the bottom of the passenger compartment and distributes it evenly through the seat cushion and backrest. The airflow carries away moisture to create a pleasant microclimate. The ventilation level can be selected in 3 stages using this button. Next to this is the button for the 2-stage seat heating, which switches off automatically after 5 minutes in stage 1 and after 30 minutes in stage 2. Just beneath this, and easily within reach, are the switches for the electric windows, including the child lock and remote trunk lid opening. In the storage compartment below the passenger seat is the first aid kit. A fire extinguisher can be fitted to the driver's side if required. Comfortable seating is also provided in the rear. 3 options provide the right solution for every need. The front head restraints are folded down and the outer ones adjusted with this button. If the electric rear seat is fitted, this button does the same here, automatically, when the seat belts are fastened. In this model, the passenger seat can also be adjusted from the rear. Select the passenger seat using this button and move it in the right direction. In the same way, press this button to adjust the rear seat. Below the central armrest is space for a drinks holder, a telephone, and a coin holder.
The standard climate control system on your new S-Class has been improved even more by the control electronics. A sensitive electronic system detects the intensity and angle of incidence of the sunshine via a solar sensor and adapts the air inlet temperature, air volume and distribution automatically depending on the brightness values for the left and right sides individually.
You need only select your required temperature, set individually for left and right, and leave everything else to the automatic control system. Simply press A on the air volume rocker switch. The 2 combined rotary and push buttons, left and right for automatic air distribution, and move the selector wheel on the center vent to Auto. This is the quickest way to reach and maintain the temperature selected. Extra air vents in the B pillars improve the climate comfort in the rear. The climate control system of your S-Class has an active charcoal filter to keep out unpleasant odors, and an air recirculation switch, with which you can shut off the external air supply fully. This setting carries a time limit, which depends on the outside temperature, after which the fresh air supply is automatically restored. If there are high concentrations of pollutants in the outside air, the system switches automatically to air recirculation. Hold down the switch for air recirculation or active charcoal filter for more than 2 seconds, and the tunnel closure system is activated. Any open windows and the sunroof close automatically. Press for another 2 seconds, and the side windows and sunroof return to their original position. The redesigned control unit for the climate control system has familiar markings, so you can quickly find your way around. When the economy button is pressed, the air is not chilled or dehumidified. The residual heat function, when the engine is switched off, ensures that the interior is heated or ventilated as you wish for 30 minutes. There is also a climate control system for the rear, which can also be adjusted individually for the left and right sides. If the automatic button on the front control unit is pressed down until the symbol for the rear display appears, The system can also be controlled from the front.
The glass tilting and sliding sunroof has an automatic positioning system. Pressing the switch beyond the first stop, then releasing it, causes the sunroof to return to the last position set.
Also new, 2 extra xenon reading lights in the interior rear-view mirror. Here there is also space for the electronic garage door opener, where 3 different transmitters can be programmed. The sun visors have illuminated vanity mirrors, with a choice between normal and magnified reflection. Of course, the rear passengers have not been forgotten. They too have illuminated vanity mirrors and separate reading lights.
It was important for us not to confront you with too many buttons and displays and divert your attention from driving during their operation.
In this respect, the multifunction steering wheel provides a highly convenient solution. The 4 rocker switches are used to retrieve, operate and set the various systems in the multifunction display, depending on the equipment level of the vehicle. This button is used to select the audio system, the telephone, the navigation system, the Distronic display, the trip computer, the fault message memory, and the basic settings for your vehicle, which you can adapt independently. You can scroll to the sub-menu concerned using this button. Using the plus-minus rocker switch, you can now decide whether the doors should lock automatically during driving. In the same way, you can decide whether the driving lights should be switched on automatically or manually, how long the headlights should remain switched on after you leave the vehicle to make it easier for you to find your way in the dark, and much more. All this is described in detail in the user handbook. The System button is used again to reach the odometer. Let us take the audio menu when the radio is switched on as an example. You can access the menu using the System button. Now, using this button, you can select the station of your choice from a memory or by using the station search process, depending on the basic setting, in comfort, without taking your hands off the wheel. The volume is controlled using the plus-minus rocker switch. Another simplification is the Linguatronic voice control system for the telephone, which is activated by this button when the radio is on. This allows you to make telephone calls without taking your hands off the wheel. Dial number.
The number, please.
0711170.
0711170.
Dial. Speak simple commands and the connection is made automatically. You end the call by pressing this button. The fault message display tells you of any faults in the vehicle operation. Using the R button on the instrument cluster, you can store the messages for future retrieval. Naturally, this does not apply to fault or warning messages which concern the vehicle's safety.
The APS navigation system has been extended with the Cockpit Management and Data System, known as COMMAND for short, which is activated by this button.
It has a color LCD screen with buttons for operating the telephone, the radio, the CD changer, and the integral cassette player. Pressing this button briefly opens the cassette slot. This combined rotary and push button is the central control element for retrieving functions and submenus. Turning it marks the required menu field. Pressing confirms the selection, starts the function, or retrieves a submenu, quite comfortably from either of the front seats. After switching on the navigation system using this button, and inserting the navigation CD, you can select your destination or route by turning the knob and Of course, there is no need to enter the complete place name. If the place is found after entering the first few letters, you can enter this immediately by holding the button down until an acknowledge tone is heard. The road name is selected in the same way. Once the destination has been programmed, you can select your own route for the system to calculate.
The route is being calculated.
A virtual road map then appears on screen, which changes as required to keep the vehicle in the center of the screen at all times. To avoid being diverted by traffic, you can also display the target guidance in the multifunction display by retrieving the navigation display using the System button.
Now turn right.
Another feature of the command system is the 6-disc CD stacker unit in the left side of the trunk. Whenever the CDs are reinserted, even years ahead, they will be recognized if you name them using this function. Use the combined rotary and push button to enter the title as before. Using this selection, you can play all CDs in the stacker individually for around 8 seconds. The telephone number of Mercedes Benz 24-hour service is also stored in command and can be dialed direct by pressing this button if you have the telephone option fitted.
Standard equipment includes a cruise control with the Speedtronic integral fixed and variable speed limiters.
The speed set is shown in the display. In cruise mode, the speedometer section up to the stored speed is darkened at the same time. The speed limiter is activated by pressing the lever towards the steering column and an LED lights as confirmation. The speedometer sections are now illuminated up to the limit. Responsibility for the speed of the vehicle naturally remains with the driver. The cruise function does not adapt automatically to the road conditions, so the cruise control should not be used on slippery road surfaces, for example. The cruise control can be supplemented by an automatic distance control, known as Distronic. This is intelligent technology which, in cruise mode, automatically detects and maintains the safety distance from the vehicle ahead via a radar sensor. In heavy traffic, this feature provides the driver with extra safety. If there is no vehicle ahead, Distronic behaves like the conventional cruise control. When approaching a vehicle at the critical distance, the system reduces the speed and maintains a safe distance from the vehicle ahead. This distance can be preset within certain limits. If a vehicle enters the safety zone when changing lanes, for example, the brakes are applied automatically to restore the preset safety distance as soon as possible. If this is not possible, a visual and acoustic warning are given at the same time. Both vehicles are shown on the instrument cluster display, together with the distance apart and the current speed. Even when Distronic is not active, the distance display can be retrieved via the System button on the steering wheel and displayed in the instrument cluster. The warning signal can also be switched on using this button. Distronic cannot control the distance from a standing obstacle, for instance the end of a queue. If the distance warning display appears during driving and a double warning tone sounds, greater deceleration is required by the driver pressing the brake pedal. Please remember that this technology is breaking new ground and read the user handbook carefully.
Parking is made much easier by the Parktronic system. Sensors in the bumpers measure the distance from the obstacle.
And warning displays tell you this for the front and rear. Depending on the distance from the obstacle, segments light up and a warning tone sounds. Parktronic is merely a supplementary system, and responsibility for careful parking remains with the driver. The sensors should not be allowed to become dirty or iced up, as this can affect the function.
The electronic drive authorization system has been extended in a few points.
Pressing the opening button once unlocks the driver's door only. Pressing it again unlocks the remaining doors and the trunk lid. If the opening and closing buttons are pressed together until the LED flashes twice, this function is disabled, and the vehicle is unlocked centrally. The vehicle is fitted with a one-touch start function. To start, just turn the ignition key briefly. The rest is done by the electronically controlled start procedure. You can activate the automatic locking feature via the basic settings menu. Holding down the Open button activates summer opening, where the tilting and sliding sunroof and side windows are opened and the seat ventilation can be switched on. If, however, you hold down the locking button, you activate the convenience locking system, which closes the side windows and sunroof. The trunk lid can also be opened remotely, using the key, unless it has been locked separately.
If you have opted for the new keyless Go system, you can also operate your S-Class without any keys.
The functions of the electronic key have been transferred to this chip card you see here. It contains your personal authorization code. As soon as you touch any door handle or the trunk lid handle, the vehicle electronics communicate with this card and compare the code. To start, just press the brake pedal and the stop-start button on the selector lever. To stop, press the button briefly in position P or N. The convenience locking system is activated by holding down the locking button on the door handle. A brief press is sufficient for normal locking. In the keyless Go models, summer opening is activated by pulling and holding the door handle.
All models have the 5-speed automatic transmission with a new shift gate as standard, offering only the positions P, R, N and D.
The gear range selected is displayed in the instrument cluster. The one-touch selector is new, which allows you to select the gear range by pressing the selector lever to the side. For optimum starting, as well as the standard gear range S, there is a winter gear range, which ensures that the vehicle will start in second gear and change up earlier. This option makes it much easier to pull away in wintry conditions. Now let us take a look at the hidden qualities of your new S-Class. In terms of safety, the Mercedes Benz top-range vehicles have always set new standards. Naturally, we aim to do the same with every new model. And we have no doubt that, once again, this car will become the standard for safety. Safety begins in the bodywork, the design of which reflects the latest findings from our accident research. Numerous crash tests with standards far higher than those prescribed by law have proven the safety of our vehicles.
The restraint system in the new S-Class is even more comprehensive and effective.
All 4 doors have integral side airbags. Window airbags, extending over the entire length of the vehicle for equal protection of front and rear passengers, are also standard. The front passenger airbag can not only tell whether the seat is occupied or whether a Mercedes Benz child seat is fitted, but it can also distinguish between minor and major impacts and triggers just the first or also both stages of the gas generator accordingly. The belt tensioners act in conjunction with the inertia reel system to ensure that the 3-point seat belts provide optimum protection for the passengers, even in the event of a rear impact.
The Tele-Aid emergency call system automatically sends an emergency call in the event of a serious accident.
All information relevant to the emergency services on the severity of the accident and the position of the vehicle are transmitted via the GPS satellite system, and a speech link is created automatically between the emergency control center and the vehicle. Of course, in emergencies, you can also call for other help by manually triggering this process. See the user handbook for more detailed information.
And our engineers have considered even minor mishaps. Minor collisions up to 4 kilometers an hour are absorbed by the bumpers with no consequences.
Special measures have also been taken for the most common accidents in traffic at low impact speeds. Bolt-on front and rear modules with crash boxes for easy replacement mean low-cost repairs without costly welding work.
When it comes to active safety, we have aimed at the highest standards technically possible in the S-Class.
Brakes, incorporating the latest developments from motorsport, are utilized to the optimum in critical situations, thanks to the electronic braking assistant. The system responds to fast activation of the brake pedal and automatically builds up the maximum braking force, faster than even the best driver. The Electronic Stability Program, ESP, ensures optimum traction and prevents unstable driving conditions by targeted intervention on the engine torque and the brakes of the individual wheels, before the driver is even aware of this. Of course, the driver is informed of the critical situation so that he can adapt his driving style to the road conditions, as even ESP cannot reduce the risk of an accident due to excessive speed. When driving on snow chains, in deep snow, on sand or gravel, it may be better to disable the ESP system temporarily. Then the engine torque is not limited, and the drive wheels can continue to turn to achieve a cutting effect. Nonetheless, the traction control, for instance on road surfaces slippery on one side, remains in action up to around 40 km an hour. The Adaptive Damping System, ADS, has a major effect on driving safety. It detects the driving conditions at any given moment and automatically adjusts the shock absorbers to suit them. You have a choice between a sports setting and a comfort setting. The new Airmatic pneumatic suspension on your S-Class ensures that the vehicle ride height remains the same irrespective of the load carried. And at speeds above 140 km an hour, the ride height is automatically lowered by 15 mm to improve the driving dynamics and reduce fuel consumption. Using this switch, you can raise the ride height by around 25 mm. On poor road surfaces, for instance.
Optimum maintenance of your new S-Class is ensured by the Active Service System, Assist, which, depending on your individual driving style, automatically tells you on the multifunction display in good time when your next service is due.
The remaining distance or time to the next service can also be retrieved manually via the multifunction steering wheel by operating one of the arrow keys while the distance meter is displayed. You can also display the engine oil level, provided the vehicle is standing on a level surface. If measurement is not possible, this display appears.
This brings us to the end of our introduction to your new S-Class. Naturally, we've not been able to go into detail in this film. All the information you need to operate your vehicle is given in the detailed user handbook, which you should read carefully. If you'd like to try out the operation of your new S-Class now, you can do this using this CD-ROM. And now for something new. With Mobilo Life, we have given your S-Class a very special protection as standard. Mobilo Life offers lifelong protection against rust and guarantees your continued mobility during repairs and in the event of an accident, at our cost, of course. This brochure, which you will find in your vehicle folder, contains details of the services available even in the event of minor mishaps and tells you what maintenance you need to do. Should a technical malfunction occur, Mercedes Benz staff are at your disposal. Just contact your nearest Mercedes Benz dealer, where the staff will also ensure your continued mobility. For technical breakdowns or starting problems, simply call the European-wide hotline of our 24-hour service. Round the clock, 365 days a year, someone is waiting to talk to you and arrange help. If you have any more questions, your Mercedes-Benz dealer is, of course, at your disposal. Once again, we wish you the greatest of pleasure with your new S-Class and safe driving.